Hey guys, it's Hiiva. Today I'm gonna talk to you about Leona and what you can do on her in your solo queue games. Leona is a tanky support with lots of engage, which is a good thing for solo queue, especially in lower elos, because you don't have to rely on your team that much to make the plays happen. You can be a playmaker, which Leona is the perfect champion for. You can, instead of waiting for your teammate, you are setting the pace. Leona's passive is Sunlight. Whenever you damage an enemy with your abilities, any ability, it can be Q, W, E, it will mark the enemy. And if your ally, not you, your ally, damages it in any way, that can be an auto attack or an ability, it will proc and deal damage. This especially good in all-ins because you have extra damage coming in from your allies, or you can just use like your E ability on the wave and shove the wave faster with your ally. Leona's Q is Daybreak. It empowers your next auto attack to stun your enemy, well, whatever it might be. You can use stun minions or champions. Also, it gives you 50 range, so easier to land. The big thing about Daybreak is that it's an auto reset. So in an all-in, you can chain like first auto attack and then stun them with Daybreak, and then get an extra auto attack, which is a lot of damage. Leona's W is Eclipse, which is a pretty simple ability, just grants you flat damage reduction, bonus armor, and magic resistance. But the cool thing is, after 3 seconds, you'll explode for short radius, deal some damage, and apply sunlight on all the enemies around you. That includes minions, some champions, etc. With this ability, you can just go in as a 6-item Malphite, pretty much not care about enemies, you'll be unkillable, and deal some damage at the same time. Also, if you hit enemies with W, you will get the resistances and the damage reduction for an extra 3 seconds. Leona's E is Zenith Blade. This will be your main engage tool. Basically, you throw your sword, and if it hits an enemy champion, you will dash to it. You will get into melee range and root the enemy for half a second. Also, if your E gets spell shielded or enemies have Banshee spell or Edge of Night, they will cancel the root, but you will still dash next to them, so you can use your Q to stun them or whatever. The really cool thing about E is also you can combine it with your flash. So, for example, you can press your E first and then press flash like straight after, and it will animation cancel the E, and you will just flash forward and E at the same time, and it's really hard to react to, and you will make so many picks with this. Also, if you just need a push out, you can just E and W the wave, and it will get absolutely one-shotted. Leona's ult is Solar Flare, which is a long-range skill shot where you call down a beam of light at the target location. It has 2 circles where the outer circle will slow down the enemies, but if you hit the enemy champion in the middle, it will stun them. Also, it applies your passive. The thing with Leona's ult is it's actually quite hard to hit. I'd recommend that you use it from Fog of War or from a bush, so your enemies don't actually see the ult, or that you would combo it with a slow of some kind or a snare, for example your E or Q, so you can like stack CC very efficiently. So you first hit your E, then you stun them with your Q, and then you ult them, so you cannot miss your ult. But obviously you can just flick your ult and see what happens, because it's quite short cooldown, so it's not the end of the world if you just miss it, which will happen a couple of times, but you shouldn't be afraid of failure. Runes, you always want to take Aftershock on Leona. That's a given. You cannot like go wrong with that. Then I like to go Demolish. But if you feel like you cannot hit enemy tower in 2v2, or you just want to like give your AD sustain, like maybe it's a hyper carry or something, then you can go for 1-5. Bone plating is really good in all-in matchups. You can't really go wrong with it. But if you're playing against like poke lane, you can think of going for second wind. Alternate between bone plating and second wind depending on matchup. Unflinching is really good. You'll be tenacity and slow resistance. Can't go wrong with that. Your summoners mostly will be on cooldown because you're flashing in igniting, so you always have that extra tenacity and slow resistance. But Overgrowth is not bad. Like if enemies don't have any CC, then Overgrowth is a good option as well. Then for the secondary tree, I always like to go for Hex Flash on melee engage champions like Leona. I feel like Hex Flash gives you a lot more playmaking. You will find so many more options. Then you can go either Biscuit Delivery if you're playing against like a heavy poke lane, or against melee matchups minion dematerializer to have a better wave management. Maybe you can get a little push out. If you don't like to play with minion demat or cookies, then you can go Cosmic Insight. There's nothing really wrong with it, but I feel like demat or cookies give you more value. If you're enjoying the video, please subscribe. For itemization, when you start the game and you open your store, I want you to buy steel shoulder guards, not relic shield. I know the relic shield is recommended item, but this is fake news. You want the AD support item, because in all-ins, I feel like Leona benefits actually more from AD, especially with your rune setup. So with the auto attack resets and in all-ins, you will be auto-attacking a lot, so the extra AD actually helps a lot. For boots, you can go either Ninja Taba if enemies are AD heavy, auto attack heavy. You can go Mercs if they're a lot of CC. You can go Swifties if you're playing against like a Trundle or want to roam. And then like Moby Boots also if you just want to roam. Like all those 4 options are pretty decent on Leona. First item would be a Gargoyle Stone Plate. This item just makes you literally an unkillable beast. After Gargoyle and Boots, go Locket, you can go Night's Vow or Zeeks. Again, it's very dependent on what enemies have. If you feel like you just need to be the engage machine, this is like the only situation where you can consider Righteous Glory first item. And after Righteous Glory, you can go into Shurelias. So you have double speed item that makes you into Formula 1 car. I would only recommend going for this type of build if your team really lacks engage. If the game is still going, all other support items like Redemption are not bad, or even like more just general tanky items like Randuins or Adaptive Helm are decent options, but I would always build them as like very, very last items and just focus on getting Gargoyle and Locket or Night's Vow after. For skill order on Leona, against range champs, you can start E, and against melee champs, you can start Q. Then level 2, you go for the other missing part, whatever your didn't skill, level 1. Level 3, you want to go for W, and after that, you max W. Then after you're done maxing W, you want to go for E. E cooldown goes down, and Q cooldown does not go down. So if you max E second, then you have more options. For early game, you don't really want to do much level 1. You can have push control, but that's about it. Generally, like your game starts when you're like level 2 or level 3, because that's when you can actually like go all in and not worry about dying. Before you're level 3, you can actually like lose all ins because you're not that tanky. I'd like to wait usually until I'm level 3. It depends, like level 2, level 3 is when your game starts. Generally on Leona, you just want to play a lot in the bushes. Enemies not having vision of you is really big mental thing, because enemy mid and jungle have to always think like maybe you could have like circled out of lane and be roaming. And this is like a cool play that you can do yourself, is staying in fog a lot and just generally just roaming is very good on champs like Leona. That's why early buying boots is a good idea as well. Improves your map movement, gives you more options, all that sweet stuff. In early, if you have like control of river, then you can always just move with your jungler. You shouldn't be like afraid of moving out of lane, even towards top lane, to control the map with your jungler. Or even going for like scuttle grabs, top side, or stuff like this. Like maybe your AD carry loses a bit, but it will be paid off in map control for your team. In team fights, you just want to engage on enemy backline, on their AD carry or mid lane. Just want to go really deep. You don't have to really worry about the rest of the team. Hopefully they can just follow up on you, because you will buy a lot of time in their backline. You are unkillable with your Gargoyle and W. You can just usually lock down one enemy, and generally you can kill them faster before they can kill you. That's like the bread and butter of Leona. If your AD carry is like really fed, like hyper carry, or he's just really fed and enemies have a Z, you can peel. You can just be really annoying to the Z and just stay next to your AD carry. But this is like kind of rare to happen, and it's usually just better to dive their backline in fights. In conclusion, Leona is a CC machine, lots of engage, lots of roaming power, which are all the things you need to climb in solo queue, getting those sweet LP points. In fights, you will be unkillable when you have your stone plate, your W up. You'll be a pain in the ass for the enemy. Thanks for watching the guide. If you want more guides like this, subscribe to the Monster Rugby Gang YouTube channel. If it's more of me you want, you can follow me at Twitter at Hiiva. You can also see us play in the NLC every Tuesday and Wednesday starting 6 p.m. GMT.